Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some mistakes that us wavy-haired girls make and hopefully help you guys to change your habits and achieve better results with your waves or curls, especially if you are newer to learning how to take care of your wavy textured hair. It can definitely be a learning process and it can be hard to break those old habits. I do want to say, first of all, I do not strictly follow the curly girl method. So these are things that I personally don't like to do with my hair, at least not often, because I do see a difference. Even though, like I said, I don't strictly follow the curly girl method, there are still certain things that I do agree with and that I think are bad for your hair, but there's also some things in here that maybe you haven't really considered, just with the difference between curly and wavy hair. So we're gonna get into all of that, but first, if you do enjoy this video, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you have not already. You can also come join me on Instagram and Twitter. They are linked in my description box, and we're just gonna go ahead and get into these hair tips. So one thing that I do want to start off with that is mentioned in the curly girl method, I believe, is dry brushing your hair. So this could be something that you didn't even realize was bad for your hair if you're not super into wavy hair care videos and you're maybe just discovering this as your first one. I don't know. That is a very common mistake, but it's one of the first things that I say to stop doing if you're going to transition into getting more definition and taking better care of your waves or curls. Because if your hair is already dry, any wave or curl definition that you have has the chance to get ruined. So if you're running your fingers through your hair constantly, or if you're taking a brush or even a comb, like a wide tooth comb, and running it through your dry hair, it's going to completely get rid of all of your definition. You're going to be pulling and tugging on the hair, and it's really just not great for your hair. So I definitely recommend brushing or combing your hair. I personally use a wide tooth comb before you get into the shower, or even while you have wet hair in the shower. I know some people say it's not great to detangle your hair when it is wet unless you're doing finger detangling, but for me personally, I find that finger detangling isn't quite enough, and I know it's the same for a lot of you guys. So I do recommend using a comb or a brush, but I just recommend doing it before you get in the shower or while your hair is wet in the shower, just because that way when your hair is still wet and you're done washing it and styling it, you can scrunch it, get that wave or curl definition. It will dry that way, and then you want to keep it that way. You want to keep that momentum, and if you're brushing your hair when it's dry, you're just going to completely destroy all of the coils or waves or definition that you have. So the next tip is a very common one as well. A lot of people know this one, but it is still very important, so I just thought I would mention it in case you have been doing this. Drying your hair with a regular towel. Honestly, I would say no matter what hair type you have, even if you have straight hair, drying your hair with a towel is not ideal because it is very harsh and can give you a lot of frizz. One of the biggest things with frizz is using a regular towel to dry your hair, especially if you have wavy or curly hair. Like I said, it's going to make a big difference if you start using a soft cotton t-shirt or a microfiber towel, something different like that. Just don't use your regular body towels to dry your hair because you're just giving it all this frizz and really damaging your hair when it comes down to it. So the next thing that kind of has a lot to it is the difference between wavy hair and curly hair and how they react to heavy cream thick products. I wrote down some talking points here just so I could remember everything that I wanted to say. And one of the big things with wavy hair that can cause frizziness, where your hair feels moisturized but it has a limp frizzy look to it, is buildup. And I think that a lot of people, going back to the curly girl method, who get into that and that whole method and everything, if you have wavy hair, think, oh, I should use a co-wash. I should use thick, creamy products to give me definition. But at the end of the day, that is going to cause buildup. It just is, even if it's good for your hair. That's why I definitely recommend using a clarifying shampoo, which is probably going to be a shampoo that has sulfates in it. And if you follow the curly girl method, you're probably going to be like, whoa, sulfates, evil. but you need to use sulfates every once in a while, even if it's just a couple of times a month, to kind of get rid of that buildup on your scalp and on your hair that comes with using curly and wavy girl products, whether that's a thick gel, a thick cream, even if you are using products with any kinds of silicones in it, which I personally am not just like 100% silicone free. I do use some products that have silicone that work really well for me, and you do need to be able to get rid of that silicone buildup, that shea butter buildup, whatever it is that you're using on your waves or curls. So that is definitely a big thing, especially if you have wavier hair compared to curlier hair. You definitely want to work on getting that buildup because, like I said, it does create frizz. And then also just in general, using thicker, heavier like creams and butters for wavy hair isn't always a good idea unless you're using a very, very small amount and spreading it evenly throughout the hair. I definitely find that it weighs my hair down and doesn't give me the kind of bounce that I want if I use products that are too thick for my waves, and that is something that I've learned since previous wavy hair videos. I think the first wavy hair video that I did was my routine when I had long hair, and I was using like a Shea Moisture curl butter or something like that, and it was a thicker product, and people were recommending to use something lighter like a curl milk or a wave styler of some sort. So I think switching over to lighter products or using a very small amount of thick products has helped a lot in keeping my hair voluminous and bouncy, because for me personally, I really like to have volume in my hair. I don't like flat waves even if they're defined. I just prefer to have, some volume at the root of my hair. Going along with that though, you don't want to be stripping your hair. You do want to be adding moisture back in when you are using a clarifying or kind of sulfate stripping shampoo to get rid of that buildup. You want to go back in and deep condition, moisturize your hair. Not deep conditioning can be a big mistake. I don't do it enough personally, but I think it's great to do a hair mask a couple of times a month or once a week. I just think it's great for your hair, and then you can go in once or twice a month even and just remove that buildup with a clarifying shampoo. But for me personally, I have lightened my hair, and I do use Olaplex as a mask before I get in the shower and wash my hair, and I find that really helps to repair my hair. And I know it's not like a traditional deep conditioner. It's not meant to be used on wet hair, but it does make a difference in how my hair heals after having lightened it, because that is something that I have been doing lately. You can't really tell in this lighting, but I have lightened my hair, and it makes a big difference to be using something to replenish it and help repair it, because it is not perfect right now. It's not at its best that it can be, but I personally like to have fun with my hair. I like to do things that are different. If I feel like straightening my hair or heat styling it, if I feel like lightening my hair or doing a different color, something fun, I'm gonna do that. And I think that is also important, is to not let yourself stress too much about it, because I know that people can get really intense about curly and wavy hair and have all of these rules, kind of like the Curly Girl Method book does. And for me personally, I just don't stress about it too much. I like to be able to enjoy my hair. And let me know if you guys want me to do a video on like all the reasons and break down why I don't follow the Curly Girl Method, because I know I did mention the Curly Girl Method in my first hair care video and I talked about all the different rules, and I think that I've learned a lot since then, in the sense that to just not stress too much about it, because your hair is going to make it through if you're still taking care of it, even if you decide to straighten it every now and then or something. So yeah, going back to what I was saying about conditioning and moisturizing your hair, that is also really important. You just want to have a nice balance there. I think it's cool to even do like a DIY hair mask. You can look up DIY hair masks for curly or wavy hair, and I think it's really fun to do that. Just kind of like skincare, a face mask. It's kind of pampering and relaxing, especially right now in these times. It's good to do some pampering for yourself. So I think the last thing that I wanted to mention is how you're applying your products. So for instance, with wavy hair especially, raking your products through your hair and really like finger combing your hair while you're applying your stylers can actually really pull on your waves And this is something that I need to get better with myself, is really just smoothing the product slightly over my hair, like even doing the praying hands method if you have seen that, and then just scrunching the product into your hair really well instead of trying to comb it through your hair and really focusing on coating every single strand. If you are applying your hair when it is still damp or wet and you're really squishing that product in when you're scrunching, you're still going to coat all of your hair and get the product throughout all of your hair. So try not to focus too much on combing or raking your hair after you've already washed it, just to keep that definition there. I think also that if you do have a very light wave pattern, let's say you have 2A hair, it can be better to wait until your hair is just damp to apply your products instead of doing it when your hair is sopping wet, because it can really weigh down the hair and make it look flat and not give it the kind of definition that you want. I think you just have to kind of be careful there with the type of hair type that you have and how you're applying your products. Just play around and kind of figure out what works for your specific hair type, because at the end of the day, we're all different and our hair is all different, and our hair is going to react or respond differently to different products. So there may be a product that I really love that you don't, even if you have the same hair type as me. I do find for me having shorter hair with waves is different than having longer hair. I've done both, and so I know the difference. Like for instance, with shorter hair, I find that plopping doesn't work as well, especially if you have hair as short as mine, because when you push it all to the top of your head and you tie it up in that t-shirt, the back pieces can really get flattened and you don't see the same results as you do with long hair. So there's definitely different things with short hair, with long hair, with wavier or curly hair. Girls with really curly hair are obviously going to be able to do a little more when it comes to raking products through the hair or adding a lot of product, where us girls with wavy hair have to be a little more careful in that sense because it can weigh our hair down and give us less definition. I think every hair type is beautiful, obviously, but sometimes I do wish that I had gorgeous 3A curls, because that is truly my dream. I think 3A hair is just absolutely beautiful. Obviously, every hair type is beautiful, but for me personally, sometimes I think maybe if I just wore my natural hair color and I didn't lighten my hair and I followed all the curly girl method rules perfectly and all of these things, that I would be able to have more definition and more curly hair. But at the end of the day, I'm not the kind of person that can stick so strictly to rules like that and never ever stray from them, because I do like change. I do like changing my hair. I like cutting my hair. I like dyeing my hair. I can't really stick to the same look for years and years at a time, because that's just not me. I just love playing with my hair and kind of getting creative with the look. So I think it's just great to be creative and do what works for you. And I'm going to stop rambling now because this video is getting really long and we have talked about all the points or the main things that I wanted to talk about. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. I didn't want to do an excessive amount of information in this video, so I just shared about 5 or 6 tips. But I do hope that this video helped you out in some way. Maybe you learned something from today's video. Let me know in the comments down below if you are enjoying the hair videos and if you want to see more of them. I would love to hear your thoughts. Before we leave, don't forget to subscribe down below if you have not already, like I mentioned earlier, and give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. It really helps me out. You can also come join me on Instagram and Twitter if you would like to do so, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!